right. So ready to go. Anyway, hello everyone. And I just want to first off say it's great to see you guys stepping up to be part of this this group. I did send Shelby a handout that she probably put on the Facebook page. And, you know, really what I wanted to talk about, something I've been sharing with my region and something that I did some reading on years ago when I ran an office and I used to use every single push week. But let me talk about the push in general. And that is, I think the push is not just an opportunity for us to increase our sales, although it is a huge one at that. It is, in my opinion, also one of the biggest leadership challenges that we have as a team for the whole year. And the reason it's one of the biggest leadership challenges is because we put ourselves in a position to go after something really challenging. And we encourage people to do the same on our team. And so everything that you learned about coaching, everything you've learned about, you know, challenging people and your own personal leadership, I think it boils down to how well can we perform over this period of time. I think one of my tips for you as you attack this push is don't just make it about the sales numbers. Make it about a growth opportunity for yourself and your people. And when you think about a leadership challenge, it can come in many different forms. For some of you, it could be the belief that you have about hitting your goals, or it could be the belief that you're able to give to people about hitting their goals. You know, I've seen many representatives who are under $10,000 in sales who didn't think they could have a $10,000 push, and their coach is the one who helped them get there, you know? And that could be, you know, I know when I ran my branch, the biggest thing I learned my first summer was that I gave up on people too quickly when they weren't on track for something versus digging in and helping them believe more. So it could be that. Your leadership challenge could be caring for people more. So a lot of you have probably heard of Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership. The first level of leadership is authority. It's where people do what you tell them to because you're their boss. And that exists in every organization to some degree. The second level is relationship, where people do things because they like you, they like the environment, they like the team, they're tied in. Most offices get to that. Level 3 is where you see performance really jump. It's when you combine level 2, but you're a tough coach. So you're tough on people. Now, a lot of times managers get stuck at level 2 because they don't want to challenge people. But other people get kind of stuck where they go back from level 2 to level 1. They're trying to go to level 3. They're trying to be a tough coach, but they stop building the relationship with the person. They just start directing them again. And the challenge as a leader is, how do you be tough on people? Like, let me give you an example of this. You have one of your top people who's on your alliance let you down. They didn't show up. They didn't do what they were supposed to. They're not acting the way. And so you know you have to confront that, but you lash out in frustration because you're upset because they didn't show up on time, versus a coach that's in level 3 would talk to you and say, look, I believe in you. I know you can do this, but I can't let these activities go forward. There's a sandwich approach where you're still building the relationship with the person. And, you know, rather than just being upset with them or frustrated with them. And so I want to encourage you that as you go through this push, that you see this as a leadership challenge for yourself, because you could hit your goal. I've seen people drive their teams, push their teams, hit their goal, and then they kill everybody in the process and they have a horrible August. All right. And they lose their management candidates because everybody's like, that wasn't fun. I've also seen people drive their teams, push their teams, but it's positive. It's fun. We're all about growing. We're doing this together. They fall short of their goal, but the team feels great about everything that happened. And they go into August and they're fired up about the future. And so I want to challenge you to take this as a leadership challenge. And I'm going to kind of now shift into my handout. In my mind, the pursuit of all of our goals, even at my level, by the way, is mostly mental. You know, we deal with all these. This is why I think it's a leadership challenge. We deal with the mental challenge of going after a big goal and what it's going to create, what it's going to take to create that goal, you know, on a consistent basis. Now, if this is your first summer as a branch, you might have done it as a rep, but when you have more people reporting to you, it's a little bit harder. And then if you're selling and managing people, it's even harder because you're managing your own emotions as well as somebody else's emotions. And that's why it's a great leadership challenge. And I know that you can handle this, all right? But I want you to understand that you're probably going to need to grow throughout the course of the push for you to hit your goals. You're going to have to find ways to challenge yourself throughout the process. For some of you, it'll be something as simple as phoning. For others, it's not phoning. It's driving recruiting while you're phoning, or it's making sure you PDI the whole team while you're, it's that balance of a couple of different things. And so what my message really is about how do you operate at your highest level? And it's a talk called The C Zone. The C Zone was a book that I read years ago when I ran an office, and it stands for the control zone. And what it is it's the optimum level of performance that we work at. So all of us want to get into the C Zone. Now, the way they describe it in the book is you can see it in every area. You can see it in sports, business, music, all right? It's when you hit that zone where you're performing at such a high level, and even though you're working really hard, you are enthusiastic, energetic, like you're working hard, but you're not tired because you're just enjoying the moment. You're having fun. They used a lot of athletes in the book to give examples of it. Joe Montana, if you don't know who he was a quarterback for the 49ers in the 1980s when they won, I think, 3 Super Bowls. And he was known for being clutch in the 2-minute drill. And so he would pull off these miraculous performances in the last 2 minutes of a game. And people like, how do you do that? And, he took, I don't know. I get in a zone, and athletes say, like, I can't miss, or the basket got bigger, or the game slowed down, and all the decisions I made were just clicking. I'll bet each of you has had a C-zone performance. It might be in Cutco. It might be in finishing a project that you had. If you're a musician, it might be in a performance where it's just clicking. That's what the C-zone is. All of us have had it, but there are certain people who learn to get there more frequently. They learn to set up the conditions to have it happen, and that's what the book studied. What sets it up? So people like Michael Jordan, so many game-clutching, winning fourth quarters. Jack Nicklaus, who many of you might not know, but he was renowned as one of the greatest golfers of all time. He won more major championships than anybody in history. He was always known for being clutch. Martina Navratilova, who is like the Serena Williams of the 1970s. She won so many major championships in tennis. And I'm going to teach you what they do to set it up, all right? And so they have fun. They enjoy the process. They see solutions where others see obstacles. And all of these things are elements of the C Zone. How they think about their situation, their opportunities are what get them there, all right? Now, so hopefully you can understand what the C Zone is. I want to compare it to 2 other zones that you can find yourself in when you're putting yourself in a challenging situation. So all of you, by going after this big push, have put yourself into a challenging situation. And so what's going to happen is as things go right and wrong, your body is going to start reacting to those things. Your psyche is going to start reacting. And that's where the leadership comes in. Everybody from my region knows my favorite saying is the most important person you have to lead is yourself, right? And so learning how to lead yourself through this will help you be a greater leader for others. So here's the other zones. This is on the handout if you have it. If not, you can jot it down. One is the drone zone. And the best way to understand it is to understand what your mind's telling you when you get into this zone. The key phrase in our head that your quote that quiet voice, that voice that you have to start learning to pay attention to. The key phrase that voice is saying is you can't, all right? You can't do this. You're not on track. It's not going to happen. And so what happens is you get all these negative reinforcements. Like, so like example, let's say you have this really big goal for the push, right? And yesterday sucked. Right now, you I have to be at, Earl told me to set a goal by Friday. I have to be at like this much by Friday, and I only sold like 1,200 hours, and my top rep didn't show up for the alliance. And all of a sudden, your negative voice starts saying, you can't do this. It was a nice goal, but it's not going to happen. And what happens is you start to feel unmotivated and depressed about your goal, and you stop looking for solutions. So in this scenario, you could be on this call. You could be hearing the best ideas in the world, but when you hear the idea, all right, hey, one of the things that you can do today is create same-day demos, all right, and you can do leapfrogging. Let me teach you how leapfrogging works. And like you're like, oh, that won't work. I tried that before. That's not going to happen. And so what starts to happen is your mind just shuts down, opportunities because you're not open to them because you're hearing I can't. And so I'm sure all of you have coached a rep that they've been in this drone zone. So you can find yourself there too. You're giving the rep all those solutions, and they're kind of like, that won't work. I did that. That's the drone zone, and it ends up being lethargic and unmotivated. Now the panic zone, in my opinion, is where a lot of high performers end up. The key phrase in the panic zone is "I gotta." All right, you gotta get this done. You gotta do this. And what happens is your psyche uses stress and fear to motivate you to work harder. All right. Now, the reason that many of us use this, and by the way, this goes back to how we're formed as biological creatures. Stress is a powerful motivator because when we are in danger, stress creates adrenaline, which then helps us act quicker, right? So this is good, but it's only good in short bursts. It raises our energy in short bursts. And the challenge is over an 18-day push, using stress to motivate yourself will last a very short period of time. Even if you did hold it up day after day, all right, what happens is you'll burn yourself out where you'll be tired by the end of the push. You'll be like, thank God that's over. Oh my God, I never want to do that again. And the other thing that can happen is it can lead to you not being effective with people. Because when you're stressed, I think you guys know this, over half of what we communicate is nonverbal. It can lead to you, this is like, trying to sell for yourself. And as a result, you're just not connecting with the customer. This is how you can, as a manager, you can move from level 2 back to level 1. You're just bossing people around because you're just stressed about your goal. We got to get more demos. We got to get on the phone versus, hey, what do you think about today? Let me talk. What are your beliefs about what you can create today? Well, I only have one demo. I know, but there's been days where you've had one demo before and you got to 3. Like let's go into this positive, and then you coach them to believe bigger versus telling them get on the phone, right? And so that when you start to feel the I gotta, I want you to listen for that voice. I want you to, when you start to feel stress, what you need to do is shift your gears. When you start to feel the drone zone, you need to sit down, look at your goals again, and just tell yourself, look, I'm not going down this road, and I'm going to give you the tips to how to set up the C zone. Now, you can't just turn the C zone on and off. It's not like you wake up this morning, flip the switch, I'm in the C zone. However, you can think the right way consistently, which will make it more likely that you'll get into the C zone. And even if you don't get into the C zone every day, you'll perform at a higher level more consistently. So the key attitude or mantra when you're in the C zone is not I gotta and not I can't, but I'm going to. You're telling yourself that you're going to find a way to hit your goal, and you're not going to stop looking until you finish the race. I'm going to find a way to keep looking for solutions. There is a way for me to hit this goal. There's a way for our team to get there, for me to get there. All right. And I don't know if I'll find it, but I'm not going to stop looking. I'm just going to keep trying to find a way. There is a way, and I just need to find it. If there was another manager in my territory who is like, pick a top manager in the company, someone you look up to, they might be able to find the way. So I can find the way too. And I'm going to keep looking. And the worst thing that's going to happen, the worst thing is that if I don't find the way and we don't hit our goal, I'm going to grow so much and grow my people and learn so much that the next time I have an opportunity like this, I'm going to be better than I ever was before. All right. And that's the mantra of a C zone. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to keep growing. There is a way to get there. And that's how they approach every day. So they might've had $1,000 day yesterday too, but the reaction isn't, oh gosh, now we're not on track. The reaction is that sucked, but I'm going to find a way. All right. Now, one of the ways that the other attribute of someone who's in the C zone is that they look to learn from others because they're being solution oriented. So they're open to criticism. Like they don't just work. They don't just show up. Someone who's in the panic zone a lot of times just works. They're like, I'm going to work harder. And they don't look to learn or grow. All right. So how do you get yourself there? The biggest thing that they talk about is that they have a healthy perspective on failure. So this is the attitude that you need. And by the way, this is one of the biggest things that I learned as a branch, because up to being a branch, I think I was good at everything I had ever done in my life. And branch was the first thing that really challenged me at multiple levels. And so my attitude and my relationship with failure was what I took out of my branch experience. And someone who's in the C zone, they hate to fail, right? They hate it, but they're not afraid to. And the reason they're not afraid to is because whether they hitting their goal does not define them. What defines them is how they go after their goal. That's what they define themselves as. So Martina Navratilova, the tennis player, she would talk about how in tennis, you have to be able to go after the back line to try and move your opponent back. And you have to be able to hit the ball out. Like you missed the shot. And the very next play, you got to look to hit the back line again and not get all worried about the fact that you hit the ball out. You know, Jack Nicklaus talked about how in golf, when there's a clutch shot and you have to sink a par or a birdie or an eagle putt, you gotta go after the cup, not being afraid that you're going to miss. Because if you're afraid you're going to miss, you're going to not hit it the right way. You're going to leave it too short, So Michael Jordan, one of his famous posters, successories was about how, I forget the numbers, but I've hit 42 game-winning shots, and that's because I've missed over 75. I'm not afraid to miss the game-winning shot, which is why it's easier for me to take it, And so they have this. So the first thing you have to do is you have to redefine failure. See, when a C-zone player misses a target, they don't say, oh my gosh, I wasn't good enough. What a loser I am. And so when they're not on track for something, they don't have that negative rant going in their head, because hitting the goal isn't really how they're defining themselves. How they're defining themselves is how they're going after the goal. Look, hey, I got to be able to go after this. Going challenging myself is great stuff. If I challenge myself, what I'm doing is I'm opening up the door for greater growth for me, and I'm just not going to give up. I'm just going to keep on going till the very end, And so they redefine failure. So let me redefine failure for you. Failure is not missing a goal. Failure is giving up before you gave it everything that you had. Failure was stopping looking for solutions. When you commit to not quitting, it gets easier. Now, I know, let's say you had a goal of $100,000 for the push. Let's say that is what you filled out when you filled the goals out for Shelby. I know that if you ship 25 this week, the math says that you're not going to hit 100. I know that, all right? So what do? Well, you could set a new goal, and I'm not going to tell you that's a failure for doing that. If it gives you more energy and puts you in a positive zone, then do that. But the point is that you don't stop looking for solutions to find that gear. By the way, I've seen an office sell $100,000 in 3 days to hit their goal for a push. I have no idea how they did it. I'm like, that was the most insane thing I've ever seen. I never did it, but when I say they sold $100,000 in 3 days, that was more than they sold the week before, to put it in perspective. So the week before, the whole 7 days before, they had hit $80,000. By the way, it was the Nassau County office. It was when I was the region manager here several years ago. And so it was just amazing to watch them go after that. So you got to redefine failure for yourself. The second thing they do, since they redefine failure, they're focusing on their opportunities and solutions, not their obstacles. And whatever you focus on grows. Now, I know you know this. You've been trained this throughout your management training, all right? But now you're in a more challenging situation. So you got to keep asking yourself, what can I do better? What can we do better? What is so-and-so doing better? That's why being part of this group can be positive. If you're part of this group and you're listening to the ideas and you're trying to see what can you share with your team, what else can you do, that will help, And again, with your own personal sales, I know that you're all better sales reps after being a branch, but that doesn't mean that the first or second or third day of the push is going to go automatically the way you want it to. So Stacy McClellan is one of my favorite stories to tell. Stacy was a branch, a two-time branch for me when I was the regional sales director out in the Midwest, and she ran a branch office in Pittsburgh. And Stacy was a competitive ice skater to the point where she almost made the Olympics, but her partner, she was a double skater, left the sport, and that's how she got into Cutco. I'm like, why didn't you just find another partner? She goes, you don't understand. At my age, you don't find another partner. Well, it's over. It's like you can't develop that rapport. So she put all of her competitive energy into Cutco. Well, Stacy was someone who had she won a scholarship as an assistant manager. She had like a $20,000 SC2 push the year before. This is when it was a 2-week push. So when she was a branch, she's like, I want my team to sell 100, and I'm going to go after 25,000, because even though that's only a little bit more than I did before, that would be so impressive to me, or why I manage a team and blah, blah, blah. Well, I had this whole on a piece of paper. I could send it to – I have her that she filled out this form for me and Jeff Bry about her push week. And I saw her 4 days into the SC2 push, and I had lunch with her. And in 4 days of the SC2 push, I mean, she had set up 47 appointments over the weekend to start the SC2 push. Now, over 20 of them were for past customers. Well, in her first 4 days of the push, she had sold less than $1,000. And she had one day where she had 11 demos, okay? 8 of them were service calls. She had 8 cancellations, not all the service calls, but she had 8 cancellations and 3 no sales. That was the day before and so I said, what do you think's going on? She goes, I don't know. I'm like, are you having fun? She's like, no, not really. Are you trying too hard? Probably. I was like, all right, forget about your $25,000 goal. You know you're great. It doesn't matter if you hit that goal. You realize that you're a great rep and a great branch, whether or not you hit that goal. Why don't you just try and sell $1,000 to $2,000 in the next 24 hours? She's like, all right. So go have fun today with your customers, all right? She ended up selling, like, I think it was $6,000 or $7,000 that week, all right? And by the way, she did end up selling $25,000. She sold $5,000 in the last 24 hours to hit her $25,000 goal. My point is, she was trying too hard. She got into that panic zone. All right. And so she had to she redefined failure, and that helped her start looking for all the solutions. So this brings me to my last point, which is the other thing that C-zone performers do. So they have a healthy relationship on failure. This allows them to focus on solutions and not obstacles. So they're reaching out. They're looking for answers. They're not just focused on what's going wrong. That's the find a way mentality. There is a way. All right. What can I try that's different? And they get good at having fun with the process. See, when you're not afraid to fail and you make it about your growth, it is a little bit easier to have fun. The greatest example I can give, the greatest 2 examples were the book, I talked about Joe Montana and the 2-minute drill. He was known for telling jokes in the huddle in the last 2 minutes to make people laugh. And he said, I do it because I know if they relax, we're all going to perform better. Michael Jordan, now if you know his story, he went to multiple Eastern Conference finals and lost like 3 straight times before he made it to his first championship. So this is in the third one where he's going to the championship right before I believe he was playing the Knicks, and it was Game 7, and he got fouled, and I forget how much time is left on the clock, but there wasn't a lot, and he had to make both shots to win the game. And the camera zoomed in, and he was smiling on the foul line. Like he was enjoying the moment versus going, oh, my God, I got to hit this. So they learn to have fun, all right? And when you have fun, it enables you to connect with people greater. You turn stress situations into growth. So how do you have fun? What I do when I find myself going into that panic zone is I focus on people. I focus on building up people. I focus on saying good things about myself. I'll take a piece of paper and I'll write down affirmation statements. Like, I've done a lot of great things this summer. I'm really strong. I can find the solutions, you know. I focus on what I want to learn. I reach out to somebody else who can teach me something, all right? And when I focus on my team, I focus on sharing appreciation. Hey, I just want to let you know, I'm fired up about how well you've done this summer. Regardless of whether or not you hit your $15,000 goal for the push, I just want you to know I'm going to be proud of you. And I just want you to have fun while you're pushing yourself. And I build people up. That helps me have fun. That's my trick, Sometimes I have to call somebody who helps me have fun because I'm naturally just more intense. So I when I was younger, I naturally went into the panic zone versus the C zone. And the way I had to learn how to counteract that. So focusing on people versus numbers helps me. Sometimes I have to redo my goals. I have to focus on learning things. Sometimes there's somebody that I would call. John Kane is that person for me who makes me lighten up a little bit. and this helps me bring better energy to events. So as you get off this and you think about managing people and manage yourself, I want you to be a tough coach, right? I want you to push yourself, right? When you're being a tough coach on your people, do it from a standpoint about caring about them, not about your number, okay? Even though you have a number. I want you to have a goal, all right? But I also want you to realize it's not just about the number. And that's why my favorite saying in a push is success is a journey, not a destination. There's not a number that you're going to hit that's going to make you successful this summer. What's going to make you successful is you treating the opportunity the way you know you should treat it, which is giving your best during the push. And then guess what? Giving your best in August. You know, like, what if there was a personal sales contest in August where you could win an exciting trip? Like, what if that were to happen? You know, you wouldn't want to burn yourself out in the push, right? You want to be ready for August, right? And so I want you to attack, and I will tell you that I didn't hit my goal as a branch my summer. I didn't even win a trophy at my SC2 push, all right? However, I finished the summer right. I finished the race right. And back when I was a branch, we didn't have personal sales competitions to win trips. You didn't win a national trip as a branch, that you had to go district to win a national trip. And so I just sold because it was the right thing to do, and because I wanted to make more money, and because I knew it would help my team finish strong. And I had 5 management candidates because I got myself out of the stress zone that I was in the beginning of July, and I got myself back to the, hey, let's have fun, let's grow, let's go after this. Hey, what do you want to go after? And I help them set goals. So I know that if you do that, you'll have a positive experience, you'll help your team grow, and you'll probably click and perform at your highest level at different periods of the push. So that's what I got, Shelby. I don't know if you want to ask any questions or comment, but I'll stay on. I know that we said 30 minutes, so I think we hit it almost square on the nose.
Yeah, thank you so much, Earl. This has been awesome. I have your notes pulled up on my computer, but I also have 2 pages worth of notes. So I really appreciate you diving into this. Does anybody have any questions for Earl?
I do, actually. It's Christian.
Yeah, Christian.
Hey, yeah, so just real quick. So I'm running my last training seminar this weekend, which means that, obviously recruiting is going to be done. And I was just wondering on what your thoughts are on how to put people like on AM pay or to keep them off. Because I have, kids that obviously I want to, create some management candidates and all for the upcoming, summer, but I didn't really exactly know like how to budget that because like, if I'm not going to be recruiting and, say they're not field training and I'm not running team meetings, I don't really know how to, why it'd be worth it to promote someone to AM and, pay them for that. Okay.
All right. So that's a great question. All right. And here's what I'm going to share because we have multiple regions on. All right. The first thing is the reason it's a great question is you don't have to put someone on AM pay to have them be a great candidate. So you should just have people get excited about being candidates. They can also come and help out in the office without being on AM pay. Now, when I say help out, what I mean is come in for an hour, watch you do some pre's, or come in and help with PDI. When I say help, they're there for a half an hour and then you get them on the phone. It's not like hey, I want you to work for 8 hours, So when I say help, it's very limited. So you shouldn't think I should put them on AM pay so they become a management candidate. The only reason in my mind that you put someone on AM pay is because they're going to help you increase their sales. All right. So they can do that one of 2 ways. They can do that by, helping you add recruits, which if you're done recruiting, they're not going to do that. All right. Or they can do it by helping you manage your team, which if your team's not that big, then you don't need that much help, but they could help you field train. So I would tell you what I would do. All right. And since you're from my region, you can do this. You can, tell me, here's the person I'm thinking about, and here's what I would have them do. And this is what I would pay them. And then we can make that decision. But in general, I don't think you should think, oh, I have to add someone to AM pay to have them being fired up about being a candidate. All you got to do is promote branch at your meetings, promote Leadership Academy, talk about the next event. Hey, it's great to be a candidate. Even if you never become a manager, being a candidate, it's fun because you get invited to extra events. You learn extra things. It helps you build your resume. And I could see you as a great management candidate and being someone great for the Leadership Academy. I know they're going to have interviews in August where you meet with the division manager. That's what I want you shooting for. And what I'd like to do is have you give a talk at the team meeting just to kind of get some public speaking experience. It doesn't have to be long. And that's how you can involve people. And when I was a rep, I was fired up to be a management candidate. I was never an AM. I was a management candidate all summer, but I wasn't an AM. So you don't, don't think AM means management candidate. Management candidate is almost like a title in and of itself, I guess you would say. So hope that helps.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Earl. I really appreciate your time today, and I will see you at SC2.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great, fun push and C-zone it. See you guys.
All day. Thank you.